Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Super grateful to be here. I think it was about maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. I think it was like the first time I actually got to hang out and meet you guys through Pastor Aaron. He was my discipler. He was actually my, let me see, first of all, he was my DC, and then I became his brother DC. We were roommates at Word of Life, and that was the best form of discipleship I ever received in my life. To become, I was his RA, there we go. To become roommates with the guy who discipled me. Because I got to watch his life and got to see everything that he was teaching me, but see it in person. And man, that was so cool. Like literally, like gives me butterflies thinking about it right now. But it was the sweetest form of discipleship, and he became definitely my best friend, and still to this day. And so, yeah, so this is my family. I've been blessed by the Lord. Crazy testimony from the Lord and His grace. I never thought I'd have kids, nor would I get married and have a family that would last, because I come from a broken family. I'm a product of sin. Thank you, Jesus, that He works all things out for good. And so I thought, man, there's no way that I'm going to have like a put together family, a family that could be blessed, a family that could that could be learning from God. Like, no. And here we are. Here's our slogan is Run with RJ, because we're a family of RJs. Oh, sweet, I'll look right here. So yeah, I'm RJ, Ray Giovanni. My wife is Janessa, Rogelio, Jaylani, and Rokayo. And so we have one more addition, Hosea. He was just born a month ago. And so yeah, it's like I'm so totally mind-boggled that God could work in my life and allow me to marry a woman who loves Him so much. She grew up in Brazil. I grew up in Southern California, and I wasn't walking with Jesus. She was a missionary kid. I went to Bible school, or I went to the Marine Corps, and there in the Marine Corps I fell in love with Jesus my last year in, and she had went to Word of Life. And so I fell in love with Jesus on a ship, on the USS Green Bay in the military, and as I left the ship and came to Word of Life, she left Word of Life as a student and went to Brazil for 2 years. I finished my 2 years as a student, she finished her 2 years as a CCI intern, and she came back to Word of Life Bible Institute, and then we started working together in the same department. As DCs. And so that's where the Lord did so much cool stuff. There's no like shared interest. We never said, hey, I like you, or nothing like that. But we just worked together for 2 years. And because of that work, at the end of it, I was like, man, Lord, for sure, I can't leave here without a wife. I'm not telling you to do that. But that's just how I was thinking. I was a little unsure, like, okay, am I really gonna find another like godly woman like out there somewhere else, like in the jungle? Sure, God can do that. I've heard plenty of stories. Okay, I've heard plenty of stories now, but I thank the Lord that I was thinking like that, and so I got a whole bunch of encouragement, and people were telling me, no, dude, like you can't just marry anybody because not everybody wants to go to the jungle. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, no, for sure, like, if I marry somebody, like a Christian, like, she's gonna go to the jungle with me. It's like, no. That's not how that works, man. Not every Christian girl wants to go to the jungle. So I was like, okay. So yeah, so thank Jesus for all the wisdom that He provided, all the people along the way. And so that's where we are today. We're married, have been married 6 years, going on 6 years. And it's been super cool. It's not always the easiest, like having kids and everything, but man, God works all things out for good. He works everything out for good. He takes all the hard things, and He helps us to grow, to become more like Jesus. And that's the whole point, for us to become more like Jesus. And so that is our desire, is we want other people to be more like Jesus, for them to meet Jesus, fall in love with Jesus, and walk with Him. And so that's why we are going to Brazil. We're in Brazil. We're coming back home for like a mini furlough. Super grateful that the Lord worked this out for us to come back for this mini furlough. We just finished our Portuguese study. As I said, my wife grew up there, so she didn't have to learn Portuguese. She already knew it. She actually, when we got there, she passed the language test, and she left me in the dust. And so then I had about 8 months of language study to do, and I just passed as well. Thank you, Jesus. And so in Brazil, there's over 99 people groups who have never heard of Jesus. They don't have anybody to say, hey, this is Jesus Christ in their own language. And so 33 of them only speak their language. So it's like somebody has to go learn their language in order for them to get it. Or one of those people have to leave their tribe, go somewhere else, learn another language, hear about Jesus, and then go back to their tribe, tell other people about Jesus. So it's like, yeah, God can do that, and God is also sending us. So I want to challenge you guys in that as well. So we went to Ethnos 360. You guys are probably like, man, how come this guy didn't say we were alive? Well, I did the CCI program as well, actually, and I loved it. I went to Brazil, and I got to do the CCI program and learn Portuguese there. quite a bit, but not not proficiently enough. But the time there was amazing. And one of the things that really hit me along my tour here with Word of Life is I realized what kind of ministry I really wanted to be involved in. I started out on program team for snow camp, and then summer camp on the island, and then for snow camp again, and then I went to the Pines my last year with Word of Life, so my 4th year, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I've never seen a whole family being reached with the gospel like this. I've never seen a whole family being reached with the word. And I was like, I want that. Like, I want that kind of ministry. I want to see the whole family. I want to see mom and dad fall in love with Jesus, and that helps the kids see that they love the kids, and the kids are falling in love with Jesus, and that helps the whole unit grow together. And so I was like, I want that. That's exactly what I'm looking for, Lord. And so if you're okay with the Jesus, I want to follow you in that direction. And so he led us to Ethnos 360. Ethnos 360, their motto is a thriving church among every people group. And so here we are. This is the big picture of church planning. It's really big. And we're just finishing up this part right here. We just finished up National CLA, so Portuguese study, Brazilian culture, and we're moving on to what life's going to look like afterwards. And along that process of studying language and culture, we get to enjoy the local people. We get to enjoy having a kid in another country. Like, what is that going to be like? It's very different, actually. It's a lot cheaper. But it's very different. There's a whole bunch of other things, too. But that's one of the key points. And yeah, we had this class right here in the middle. Is this a laser? Yeah. Oh, you can't see it.
No, you
okay,
can't see
right
it.
here. Right, this picture right here. That was our National Culture and Language group. We're all Americans coming together to learn Portuguese. And one of the cool things that the Lord does through this process is that you develop these relationships with people that you didn't really quite know. And our Portuguese teacher, Ana, she loved us so much. Man, she gave her all to us. And she worked with us every single day of the week. She made sure that we had everything we needed. Thankfully, we could already speak Portuguese, so we kind of had a jump start. But her involvement in our lives was a testimony of Jesus' care for us individually. And she passed away from a heart attack while we were there, as we were leaving. So crazy, yeah. But one of the cool things to see is that her desire was for us to go. Her desire was for us to continue to grow, to become like Jesus, and to tell other people about Jesus. And so she passed me on my language evaluations. So cool. And I love this lady so much. And I just can't not talk about her because of her impact in my life, and her encouragement to our family, and her encouragement to all these guys right there. And so we thank the Lord for her and her ministry. And so back to the big picture, what does this look like? Like, what are you guys doing now? If you guys just finished your National Language and Culture study, what is the next steps? Well, the next steps is to go and meet this people group called the Kanamari. For our family, that's where we're going to. Can you guys say Kanamari with me? 1, 2, 3. Kanamari. Isu. All right, so National CLA, we just finished, and now we're going to go into the allocation. We're going to go into the people group. We're going to go live with them. We're going to go live with them. We're going to be like them. We want to enjoy life with them, so that way they can see Jesus in our lives, and we can learn how to communicate Jesus appropriately into their lives. And so the Kanamari is a couple of different things about them. They have roughly 5,000 inhabitants. They live right next to the Javali Valley, the Valley Javali. And that place is home to a whole group of indigenous people groups. So you guys are probably like, what's up with this whole people group thing you keep talking about? Well, in Revelation 5:9-7-9, God talks about reaching every people, tribe, tongue, and family. And so, those people are in there. And the work is going to be done because we know that those are prophecies about who is going to be before Jesus, worshiping Him in spirit and truth. And so we know that they're going to be represented there. And so in that valley, there's a whole bunch of people groups that still need to hear about Jesus. So this is a real, the word I want to use is tactical, but that's not strategic. There we go. Strategic outreach to the Kanamari, because reaching them and encouraging them, exhorting them to do the work of the ministry, to go and be missionaries themselves. They can go to this valley and they can go reach these people groups. And so, by God's grace, that is our desire. That's what we're pursuing Jesus for, to see these people do what we're doing. We're not the only missionaries there.
Brazilians and foreigners and Brazilians are not allowed to go into this valley.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's restricted. Only indigenous. So yeah, so we can't go in there like big old red flag. They're like, whoop. and then Brazilians can't even go in. So it has to be an indigenous person that goes in and does the work there. And so where do these guys live? They live within that big old circle there. And we were living all the way at the bottom there. So we did a road trip. I did a road trip with this guy named Osmar, or Mr. Osmar. And he was 64 years old. This dude is so awesome. I mean, it was the best road trip I've ever had in my life. And so we drove from the state of Goiás and Vianópolis all the way up to Santa Fe, and then we got a boat over. And so this is just a little snapshot of our trip. And it was so good though. The community, the time together was just purely worshiping Jesus, and it was just so cool. I just can't get over how sweet everything it was. And so thankfully we got to do a road trip, so my family of 6 doesn't have to do it, because that would have been terrible. Lots of dirt roads, lots of dangerous things, and so we got to do it just us two, and it worked out great. And so from Manaus, where we took our car to on a boat that took 2 days from Santarém. So we drove to Santarém, took a boat 2 days, got to Manaus, we dropped our car off in our trailer. And if you were to fly to Edinet Bay, where the closest city or base is to the Canamari, it would take about a 2-hour plane. But taking a boat, which we'll have to do for our car at least, and our trailer, it takes about 15 days on boat. So this is the Juruá River, and it is the windiest river in the world. Yeah, so if we went by plane, it's way easier. And so here's a quick video, and then we're going to wrap it up and pass it back. So this is just what looks like getting into the village, and so we'll live, potentially we want to live in the village with these guys, but we might live on the other side of the river because of some serious, this is a thing called Funai. And you guys can pray for these people. They hate Jesus. They need Jesus. They really don't like Jesus. They're called the Funai. They're supposed to be protecting the Indians, but what they do is they take advantage, and they take money, and then they tell them lies and say, missionaries are here to take your culture away. And so it confuses them. And so yeah, so they're like big persecution against Christians right now. So yeah, Funai and the Kanamari. And here are a couple of prayer requests. Pastor Joe has this, so you guys can get it later. But just be praying for rest and wisdom as we navigate relationships, encourage one another along the way. Pray as we fall in love with Jesus and follow Him with all of our hearts. And we want to share the gospel everywhere we go. So we seek the opportunities. In Portuguese, they say "pega o gancho." It would be like literally like hook the trailer. Hook the trailer onto the truck. Like hook the trailer onto the truck. If you ever hear a conversation, you're like, just hook it. And just pull it to Jesus, you know? And so that's what we want to do. And then I'm going to be meeting my biological father for the first time in my life and 8 other siblings. And so we want to show Jesus to these guys. They don't know the Lord. They think they know the Lord, but they don't. And so we want to share Christ with them. And then lastly, we have some friends in PNG, Papua New Guinea, and her husband, my friend, Harold, he just found out he might have blood cancer. So if you guys could pray for him, that would be super awesome. They have a family of 3. And they're young couple as well. Thank you.